Have you ever thought your parents were helping you, only to later realize they were setting up a trap disguised as generosity? The kind of trap that doesn't just take your money, but your future, your freedom, your independence. That's what happened to me. And it all started with one number. $20,000. Not a fortune. Not a lifetime of savings. Just 1 year of college tuition. A number I didn't choose. A number I didn't ask for. A number that later turned into something far darker than debt. Something that nearly cost me every paycheck I'd ever earned. The gift that wasn't a gift. Growing up, my parents loved talking about sacrifice. Sacrifices they made for me. Sacrifices I should be grateful for. Sacrifices they never let me forget. So when I got into a good university, they insisted. We'll cover your first year. You worry about studying. I resisted. I can take loans. I can work. But they kept repeating. You deserve support. We're proud of you. You should focus on academics, not stress. It sounded so loving. So supportive. So normal. But normal parents don't repeat how much they're sacrificing every day. Mine did. Every call. Every holiday. Every conversation. Remember, we paid $20,000 for your tuition. You owe us for that. You better make this degree worth it. It felt like I wasn't receiving help. I was receiving a bill. A bill I didn't know yet how expensive it would be. The day things shifted. Fast forward to my senior year. I landed my dream job. A starting salary that felt unreal. A position I worked my entire life for. I wanted to celebrate. I called my parents. Mom, Dad. I got the job. My mother squealed. My father laughed proudly. I thought, finally. Finally. They were happy just for me. But then my father said something strange. That means it's time to discuss repayment. I blinked. Repayment? You mean the tuition? He laughed. Not just the tuition. Something cold slid down my spine. What do you mean? My mother's voice shifted into that familiar tone, the one she used when she was about to manipulate me. Honey, we invested in you. We believed in your future. Now that future includes us. I stiffened. What are you saying? My father's voice hardened, businesslike. You'll give us 40% of every paycheck. Forever. Silence. Actual, suffocating silence. I thought I misheard. 40%? I whispered. 40% of my income? Forever? My mother replied cheerfully. It's fair. You wouldn't have your degree without us. I felt like the air punched out of my lungs. That's almost half my paycheck. My father scoffed. You're being dramatic. It's only right. Your success is because of us. My jaw tightened. No. My success is because I worked for it. My father's voice dropped into something cold. You'd better rethink that attitude. The contract they demanded I sign. The next day, they emailed me a PDF. A handwritten contract titled Lifetime Repayment Agreement. I'm not kidding. Inside, in my father's scratchy handwriting. 40% of gross income. Deducted monthly. Until death. With penalties for late payment. And legal action written into a clause titled Breach of Family Duty. It was insane. Absurd. Like something from a nightmare. They expected me to sign it, notarize it, and send them sealed copies. I called them. This is ridiculous. My father snapped. You owe us. My mother added. Everyone repays their parents. Some through care. Some through money. I nearly choked. $20,000 doesn't entitle you to my life. My father snarled. It wasn't a gift. It was an investment. There it was. The truth they had hidden. Not love. Not support. Not sacrifice. A transaction. An expectation. A cage. The gaslighting begins. For days, they bombarded me with messages. You're ungrateful. You have no idea what we gave up. We're your family. UOWEUS. You're abandoning us now that you're successful. If we hadn't paid, you'd be nothing. My mother sent voice messages crying about how I betrayed them. My father emailed a revised version of the contract titled Family Compensation Agreement, Revised. Revised? It included a raise to 45% if I ever earned more, access to my tax returns, the right to demand additional compensation in emergencies. It sounded like a lifetime of extortion. And the worst part? They expected obedience. Blind obedience. Because that's how they saw families. Not love. Not care. Not support. Control. The dinner that changed everything. When I refused to sign, they invited me home for dinner. Just talk, my mom said sweetly. We'll work it out. I knew better. But I went anyway. Sometimes you need to hear the betrayal directly. The moment I arrived, the table was already set. Steak, mashed potatoes, wine. My mother smiled too wide. My father looked smug. I sat. And immediately. No warm-up, no small talk. My father slid the contract across the table. Sign. No discussion. No emotion. Just command. I pushed it back. No. His face darkened. This isn't optional. Yes, I said calmly, it is. My mother slammed her hand on the table. We paid for your life. I inhaled slowly. You paid $20,000 for 1 year. I paid for the rest. I worked 2 jobs. I studied alone. I planned my future without you. You didn't build my success. I did. My father's eyes filled with a kind of anger I'd never seen. Then you don't deserve to be part of this family. I exhaled. There it was. The real threat. Sign, he repeated, or walk out of this house and don't come back. My mother stared at me with tears that weren't sadness. They were rage, entitlement, ownership threatened. Choose, she whispered. Sign, or lose us. Lose them? Lose what? Lose constant criticism? Lose manipulation? Lose emotional labor? Lose guilt? Lose the endless debt they tried to put me in since childhood? I stood up. Calm. Collected. Done. I choose myself. My mother gasped. My father slammed his fist on the table. If you walk out that door. I turned around. Silenced him with a single sentence. You don't get to threaten abandonment. When you never truly acted like parents. And I walked. Out of the house. Out of the manipulation. Out of the life they built for me. But what happened next? The real twist? The one that changed everything? They didn't back off. They escalated. They tried to sue me. For breach of family contract. A contract I never signed. A contract that didn't exist. A contract they fabricated. And what they didn't realize was, they were about to lose far more than 40%. They were about to lose everything. Have you ever believed the worst was over? Only for the real nightmare to arrive neatly folded. In a white envelope. With your name printed on top. That was me. 2 weeks after walking out of their house. 2 weeks after refusing to sign their insane lifetime contract. 2 weeks after choosing myself. The envelope arrived. Thin. Cold. Official. A legal notice. From my parents. Not metaphorically. Not threatened. A real legal document. A document that claimed I had breached a family agreement. An agreement that never existed. An agreement they fabricated. And they were demanding damages. Damages, for refusing to pay them 40% of my income. Damages, for not honoring my parents. Damages, for benefiting unfairly from their financial support. It was the most unhinged thing I had ever read. And it was about to get worse. Balance scale the letter that broke something in me. I sat on my apartment couch, hands shaking, reading the notice over and over. Failure to comply may result in wage garnishment. Failure to appear will be considered acknowledgement of liability. Total damages sought, $480,000. Yes. $480,000. Nearly $500,000. They took their $20,000 contribution and multiplied it into a lifetime sentence. They demanded compensation for parental sacrifice, reimbursement for emotional labor, a percentage of future earnings based on anticipated salary growth. It wasn't a lawsuit. It was extortion wrapped in legal language. My breath shook. My chest tightened. And then, rage. Cold, sharp rage. Not because of the money. Not because of the betrayal. Not because they wanted to ruin my future. But because this time, they underestimated the wrong version of me. Balance scale the attorney who changed everything. I marched the document to a lawyer's office. Not a fancy corporate attorney. A quiet, sharp, terrifyingly intelligent woman named Alicia Reyes. She skimmed the notice for 3 seconds. Then snorted. "This is garbage." My shoulders sagged. "You mean? It's not real," she said. "They fabricated a contract. They're trying to use intimidation tactics. They have no legal basis." Tears burned my eyes. "So, they can't take money from me?" "Oh, they can try," she said with a grin. "But it won't work. And they're about to regret this." She flipped the papers again. "Do you know what this actually is?" I shook my head. "An attempt to defraud you," she said. "An extortion attempt. A manipulation tactic. Possibly even harassment." I felt my hands shake. Not from fear. From relief. From clarity. "What do I do?" I whispered. Alicia leaned back, calm, confident, deadly. "We're going to respond," she said. Not politely. Not passively. Not as scared children. She tapped the notice. "We're responding as equals. As adults. As people who know the law." And then, she continued. "We're going to show your parents something they never expected." "What's that?" I asked. Her smile sharpened. "Consequences." Balance scale the response that shattered their delusions. Alicia drafted a legal response. It was short. Clean. Brutal. It stated, I did not sign any agreement. They had no legal standing. Their contract was fraudulent. Their demands constituted harassment and financial coercion. Any further attempts would result in legal action against them. She CC'd the county court. She CC'd their email. She CC'd the return address on the notice. And then she wrote one final line. My client will no longer respond to personal communication from the claimants. All future contact must go through her legal representative. It was a line that severed the cord forever. A line that said, I am not your puppet. I am not your possession. I am not your financial plan. I am not your child slave. I left her office with a tornado of emotions. Relief. Anger. Freedom. Guilt. And something else. Something my parents were about to unleash inside me. Wrath. High voltage, the call that exposed their real motives. The next day, my phone buzzed. A number I didn't recognize. I answered cautiously. It was my father. His voice was calm. Too calm. So you hired a lawyer? Yes, I said. You think you're smart now? I think I'm protecting myself. A long pause. Then he asked. Why would you do this to us? I almost choked. To you? I snapped. You tried to take half of every paycheck I'll ever earn. You owe us, he said evenly. And we needed it. The word needed echoed. Needed, not helped. Needed, not loved. Needed, not supported. What for? I demanded. What do you need 40% of my paycheck for? What do you need almost $500,000 for? Silence. Then. His slip. His fatal slip. Your mother and I made some investments. They didn't pan out. We need money to fix it. Investments. My stomach nodded. What kind of investments? Not your business, he snapped. Ah. There it was. Not tuition repayment. Not parental sacrifice. Not fairness. Not respect. Desperation. They wanted me to bankroll their financial disasters. Their addictions. Their gambling. Their schemes. Their entire chaotic lifestyle. They saw my salary not as my future, but as their bailout. Their escape. Their last resort. And when I didn't cooperate, they tried to threaten me with legal fiction. Something inside me hardened. Something sharp. Cold. Forged from years of emotional debt. Don't ever call me again, I said. All communication goes through my lawyer. My father snarled. If you cut us off financially, we'll cut you off. I laughed. Bitter and clean. You already did. And I hung up. High voltage, the blow up on social media. By evening, my mother had posted a public Facebook rant. Paragraphs. Screenshots. Dramatic crying selfies. Posts accusing me of abandoning family. Being greedy. Forgetting the sacrifices they made. Brainwashing by my boyfriend. Stealing their retirement. Breaking their hearts. And the best one. Cutting them off after they paid my way through college. Which was funny. Because they didn't. They paid 1 year. $20,000. I paid the remaining $60,000 through scholarships, loans, and exhausting jobs. But to the outside world, they wanted to look like saints. But the comments weren't what they expected. Their friends wrote. 40%? Are you insane? That's abuse. That's financial control. Kids don't owe their parents their entire lives. This is manipulative. She doesn't owe you her paycheck. Sounds like you're taking advantage of her. My mother began deleting comments. Then blocking people. Then raging privately. Their house of lies was collapsing. And that's when everything exploded. Because the next day, they didn't just double down. They demanded mediation. A legal mediation meeting. With a retired judge. To resolve the conflict. And my attorney said, let's go. Because she already knew something I didn't. Mediation would expose them publicly. It would destroy their argument. It would embarrass them in ways I couldn't dream of. And I was ready. Ready to face them. Ready to be done. Ready to reclaim my life. Ready to end the cycle. But what I didn't expect, not even for a moment, was the secret that would come out in mediation. A secret that explained everything. Why they paid exactly $20,000. Why they felt entitled to my income. Why they treated me like an investment instead of a child. A secret that changed the entire story. There are certain rooms in life where the truth isn't just spoken. It's dragged out, exposed, displayed like evidence. A room where lies collapse under pressure. And masks crack. And family becomes strangers. That room was the mediation chamber. A plain conference room. A long table. A retired judge sitting in the center. My lawyer, Alicia, beside me. My parents across from us. My father stiff. Controlled. Cold. My mother wearing a forced, trembling smile. That looked more like a cracked mask than anything human. The judge cleared his throat. Let's begin. Balance scale the opening moment. The judge spoke calmly. This mediation is voluntary. It is meant to resolve the dispute outside of court. You both understand the purpose? My mother leaned forward dramatically. Yes, Your Honor. We're here because our daughter has abandoned us and refuses to honor her obligations. My father nodded in agreement, arms crossed tightly. Obligations. Like I was a contract they purchased. Not a child. The judge turned to me. Miss, do you understand? Yes, I said. And I'm here to stop their harassment. Alicia slid a folder across the table. Let's begin. Balance scale the contract, or lack of one. My father immediately spoke. We want to enforce compensation. We paid for her tuition. She owes us 40% of her income. Legally. The judge raised his brow. Do you have a signed contract? My father cleared his throat. Well, no. But she implied. No, I said. I didn't. My mother jumped in. We sacrificed everything to put her through college. Alicia calmly tapped the printed documents. And yet records show. You paid exactly 1 year, totaling $20,000. She paid the rest through jobs, scholarships, and loans. My mother glared. She would have never gotten those loans without us. The judge cut in. That is not legally relevant. Without a signed agreement, you cannot demand a percentage of her income. My father's face reddened. She owes us, morally, financially, spiritually. Alicia leaned forward. Legally, she owes you nothing. Parents are not entitled to their adult children's wages. My mother's lips curled. We are not just any parents. My lawyer smiled. That is painfully clear. My father slammed his fist on the table. You think you're smart? You think the law protects you? The law says children must take care of their parents. The judge cleared his throat sharply. That is care. Not lifetime financial enslavement. My chest loosened. For the first time. An authority figure saw the truth. But then. Alicia slid out one more document. Before we go further, let's discuss why they paid $20,000 and why they believe they deserve lifetime income in return. My parents stiffened. My mother's smile vanished. My father's hand twitched. Because this was the part they didn't want anyone to know. High voltage, the secret begins to surface. Alicia placed a thin folder on the table. Inside. Financial statements. Closed accounts. Gambling transactions. Wire transfers. Bank alerts. My parents went pale. Alicia didn't hold back. You paid her tuition using a cashed-out retirement fund. My mother snapped. It was our money. Alicia continued. You withdrew the money early. With penalties. You lost nearly half of it to taxes and fees. You turned a small retirement fund into an emergency cash splurge. She flipped a page. And then. You spent another $16,000 at casinos. The room froze. My father clenched his jaw. My mother looked ready to faint. The judge stared. You used the rest of the money on gambling? Silence. Silence dripping with guilt. Silence screaming the truth they tried to bury. My mother whispered. It was an investment. Alicia laughed. Slot machines aren't investments. The judge turned to them. Is this true? My father swallowed hard. Yes. But that's irrelevant. We used our money. We expected a return. There it was. The truth. The real truth. They didn't pay my tuition as a gift. Not even from a place of love. They paid it as a gamble. A literal gamble. A desperate, last-ditch gamble for their future. They funded my first year. By emptying their retirement account. And losing almost all of it in casinos. And then? They saw me. My grades. My potential. My field of study. My job offers. And they thought. We lost money gambling. So we'll gamble on her instead. I felt something in my chest collapse. Not shock. Understanding. Understanding the truth of my entire childhood. I was never their daughter. I was their investment. High voltage the explosion. My father finally snapped under pressure. He shouted. You should be thanking us. We chose you to bet on. You owe us for that. The judge slammed his gavel on the table. This is not how parenting works. My mother shrieked. We want our money back. Alicia said softly. You mean the money you gambled away? My mother pointed at me. She owes us for the loss. The judge leaned in. You are demanding repayment for your gambling addiction? That money was for her future, my mother screamed. No, Alicia replied. It was for your future. You saw her as a retirement plan. My father growled. She is our retirement plan. Snap. That was it. The moment the entire mediation shifted. The judge leaned back, horrified. Alicia looked positively thrilled. And me? I felt a cold calm settle over me. Because finally, their true motives were out. Not hidden behind guilt. Not disguised as love. Not framed as support. Truth. They wanted ownership. They wanted control. They wanted lifelong income. They wanted me to be their retirement fund. Balance scale the judge's verdict. After their outburst, the judge didn't need more time. He said clearly. There is no legal basis for their claim. No contract. No agreement. No enforceable obligation. In fact, this borders on harassment. He turned to my parents. You will cease all attempts to demand payment. You will stop contacting your daughter. You will not pursue legal threats again. He turned to Alicia. Should they continue, your client may file for a protective order. My mother gasped. A restraining order? Against us? We are her parents. The judge said coldly. Act like it. My father slumped. My mother shook her head in denial. The mediation ended. They lost. Not just legally. But morally. Emotionally. Completely. Their own words destroyed them. High voltage the final twist of part 3. As I stood to leave, my father whispered. You think you won? I didn't answer. You think the judge will protect you? Silence. Then he said the words that chilled me. This isn't over. You walked away from us. But you owe us. And one way or another, you will pay. Alicia immediately stepped in front of me. We're done here. We walked out. But my father's threat followed me like smoke. Not because I feared it. But because I finally understood something. This wasn't a family conflict. This was a war. And the next battle wasn't going to happen in a mediation room. It was going to happen somewhere far more dangerous. Inside their finances. Their debts. Their secrets. Their lies. And I was about to discover something that would flip everything. Something even darker than gambling. Something involving my identity. Something they hid for 22 years. Everything was about to unravel. Have you ever walked out of a room believing the truth was complete? Only to later realize you'd only seen the surface of the deception? Mediation ended the legal threat. But it didn't end the war. Because when I left that building, my father's last words clung to my spine like ice. One way or another, you will pay. It wasn't a plea. It wasn't desperation. It was a promise. A threat. A warning that my parents weren't giving up. They weren't defeated. They weren't done. And they were hiding something much darker than a fake contract or gambling. I just didn't know how deep it went yet. But I was about to. High voltage, the financial trail begins. A week after mediation, Alicia called me. You need to come in, she said. There's something you should see. Her voice was too calm. Too careful. I drove to her office with dread curling in my stomach. When I arrived, she didn't greet me with a smile. She greeted me with a folder. Your parents are in deeper trouble than they told you. She opened it. Inside were bank statements she'd obtained through lawful channels. Closed accounts. Overdraft fees. High-interest loans. Maxed out credit cards. Casino withdrawals. Wire transfers to unknown accounts. But one thing stood out. A loan application with my name on it. My blood turned to ice. It had my name, my social security number, my address, my date of birth, and a forged signature that tried, but failed, to look like mine. Your parents applied for a $75,000 personal loan using your identity, Alicia said quietly. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I stared at the page. My voice barely escaped my throat. Identity theft? Alicia nodded. Yes. And that's a felony. My hands began to shake uncontrollably. They stole my identity. Not successfully, she said. Thank God the loan was denied due to inconsistencies. But the attempt is still a crime. My mind spiraled. This wasn't just greedy parents. This wasn't just manipulation. This wasn't just entitlement. This was criminal. This was betrayal at a level no child ever imagines. This was, I will ruin your life for money. This was, your existence is a financial resource. This was, you're not our child, you're our asset. And suddenly, their obsession with 40% forever made sense. They saw me not as a daughter, but as a solution. A living, breathing bank account. And if I refused, they'd take the money anyway. Even if they had to steal it. Even if it meant destroying my future. Even if it meant committing a felony. My stomach twisted. What else haven't they told me? Alicia exhaled softly. You need to sit down for this. High voltage, the identity twist I never expected. She pulled out another folder. This one, she said, isn't financial. It's personal. She slid a birth certificate toward me. Not mine. Theirs. My parents' documents. And then another folder. She lifted a paper. This is your original birth certificate. I blinked. What do you mean original? She handed it to me. And the world tilted sideways. Because under mother was a name I had never seen before. And under father, another name, also unfamiliar. My lungs froze. No, I whispered. No, that can't be. Alicia nodded. You're adopted. The room spun. Sounds disappeared. The walls blurred. Adopted? Adopted? I shook my head aggressively. They never told me. They would have told me. They didn't, Alicia said gently. And here's the biggest part, they adopted you when you were 2. And according to the documents, they were paid to adopt you. My heart stopped. I felt my pulse hammering in my ears. They were paid? Yes, she said. They received a monthly stipend for 6 years after your adoption, almost $600 a month. Government assistance. Plus a one-time adoption grant of $10,000. My world shattered. They made money from adopting me? Yes. My hands trembled violently. So, they didn't sacrifice? No. They didn't struggle because of me? No. They didn't support me out of love? No. They profited? Alicia nodded slowly. Yes. I covered my mouth with my hand. I thought my parents were strict. Controlling. Entitled. I thought they saw my achievements as repayment. I thought they wanted to be compensated for the tuition they paid. But now? Now I realized the truth. They adopted me not for love, but for income. My entire childhood, my existence, was an investment to them. A business deal. A money-making opportunity. And when that ended at age 8, when the stipend expired, they expected a return. At first emotionally. Then financially. Then legally. And now criminally. My stomach heaved. My heart cracked open. They didn't just see me as a retirement plan. I was a paycheck to them from the beginning. High voltage, the real reason they paid $20,000. The pieces finally clicked. They paid exactly $20,000. Not a penny more. Because that was the amount left over. From government payments and grants tied to my adoption. After their gambling losses. It wasn't a sacrifice. It wasn't generosity. They simply put back into me what they were originally paid to take me. I wasn't their debt. I was their investment. And when that investment graduated college and got a job, they believed they deserved interest. 40% interest. For life. My chest burned. My throat tightened. Alicia placed a hand on my arm. I know this is a lot. But you're safe. Legally. Financially. Emotionally. They can't touch your money. They can't steal your identity now. I nodded numbly. But you need to decide something, she said. What? What do you want to do next? The question hung in the air. Heavy. Because now there were 2 paths. Keycap 1, walk away completely. Block them. Move on. Let the secrets die. Or Keycap 2, fight back. Expose them. Press charges. Protect myself permanently. And make sure they can never do this to me. Or anyone else, ever again. I breathed deeply. Slowly. Clearly. And then, for the first time in my life, I didn't feel fear. I felt purpose. Cold, surgical purpose. I want to fight, I said. Alicia nodded. Then we go to war. Crossed swords, the revenge plan begins. Alicia spread new documents on the table. We start with a cease and desist. Then file a report for attempted identity theft. Then freeze your credit. Then build a case. And after that? I asked quietly. She looked at me with a level of seriousness that made my heart beat slow. After that, she said, we make sure they never have access to another child. Or another dollar. through manipulation, abuse, or fraud. She leaned in. And we exposed the truth they buried for 22 years. My jaw clenched. Yes, I whispered. My whole life, they controlled me. Now it's my turn. Alicia gathered the papers. Then we moved forward. But before she could stand, her assistant knocked and handed her a phone. Alicia, it's urgent. It's for your client. She handed me the phone. Hello? I said shakily. And a voice I recognized, but hadn't heard in months, whispered. You need to get away from them. Now. Before it's too late. My breath caught. Because the voice wasn't my parents'. It was someone who knew the truth before I did. Someone they hoped I'd never speak to. Someone who had been waiting 22 years to tell me everything. Have you ever heard a voice that didn't just freeze your body, but rewrote your past in an instant? That's what happened the moment I answered that call. A trembling voice whispered. You need to get away from them. Now. Before it's too late. My grip tightened on the phone. Who is this? A breath. Shaky. Emotional. Familiar in a way that sent electricity down my spine. Then. I'm the woman who gave birth to you. The world dropped out from under me. My vision blurred. My heartbeat thudded like a hammer. My stomach tightened into a fist. I barely managed to speak. My birth mother? She inhaled sharply. Yes. And I've been trying to find you for years. My knees buckled. Alicia grabbed my arm as I sank into the chair. Her voice stayed low. What's happening? I covered the phone. My birth mother. Alicia's eyes widened. Put it on speaker, she whispered. I did. High voltage, the truth begins to unravel. Her voice cracked as she spoke. I never wanted to give you up. They told me I had to. They told me it was best for you. They told me they would love you and raise you well. Her breath hitched. I didn't know. I didn't know they'd take you for the money. My chest tightened painfully. I whispered. You knew about the payments? Yes, she said through tears. They were supposed to use it to help raise you. Instead, they demanded more. They wanted a larger stipend. They threatened to return you if the state didn't increase it. My breath caught. Return me? Like an item? Alicia took notes rapidly. My birth mother continued. You were never their plan. They wanted money. You were supposed to be temporary. A source of income. Her words stabbed deep. They told the agency you were too difficult and too costly. They said unless they got more money, they couldn't handle you. My face burned. That wasn't true, she added quickly. You were a quiet baby. You were sweet. You slept well. The issue wasn't you. What was it? I whispered. The issue, she said bitterly, was their lifestyle. Their spending. Their gambling. Alicia and I exchanged a look. This lined up exactly with everything we discovered. But my birth mother wasn't finished. No one told me you were adopted out to them permanently. I thought it was temporary placement. I thought I would get you back. I froze. What? Her voice cracked in anguish. They lied to me. They told me you were placed with a different family. A safe family. A stable one. Not them. I felt sick. Sick to my core. They forged signatures, she whispered. They manipulated paperwork. They disappeared. I spent years trying to track you. Alicia's pen stopped. What do you mean they disappeared? She asked. My birth mother exhaled shakily. They moved states. They cut contact. They changed jobs frequently. They even changed your last name without notifying me. I felt the room tilt sideways. My identity. My last name. Everything. It was all chosen to hide me. Not to protect me. To keep me from the woman who wanted me. My birth mother choked up. I never stopped looking for you. I hired private investigators. I petitioned the state. But they blocked every request. Why? I whispered, voice breaking. She took a shaky breath. Because if I had found you, I would have seen the truth. And their payments would have stopped. Silence. Dead, suffocating silence. Alicia leaned closer, voice steady. Ma'am, we need to know why you're calling today. Why now? My birth mother's voice dropped to a whisper. Because they came to me. My chest tightened. Alicia's eyes widened. They what? They showed up 2 weeks ago, she said. Your father and mother. They found my address. They said you betrayed them. They demanded I sign a letter stating I owed them compensation for raising you. My stomach flipped. What did they want? They wanted me to declare that you owed them money. That your salary should legally go to them as repayment. Alicia's eyes filled with pure disbelief. They tried to involve her in their fraud, she whispered. My birth mother continued. They told me if I didn't help them, they'd tell you I abandoned you and never wanted you. My heart cracked. She began crying. I never abandoned you. I never agreed to adoption. They manipulated the system. They lied to everyone. Alicia pointed to the phone. Ma'am, do you have proof? Yes, she said through tears. I kept everything. Every paper. Every rejection. Every letter with altered signatures. Every attempt they made to keep me away. She inhaled deeply. And I want to testify. Alicia's jaw dropped. You're willing to take this to court? Yes, she whispered. For her. For my daughter. For the years I lost. And to make sure they never hurt her again. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. Tears streamed down my face. My birth mother's voice softened. I don't want money. I'm not here to replace anyone. I just want the truth. And I want you safe. Alicia squeezed my arm. We'll need everything, she said. Every document. Every note. Every piece of proof. My birth mother nodded audibly through the phone. You'll have it. High Voltage, the final blow of part 5, the real reason they fought so hard. Before hanging up, my birth mother added. There's something else you don't know. My heart pounded. You weren't there first. What? They adopted 2 children before you. I froze. My hands trembled violently. Where are they? Silence. Then. They returned, both of them. A cold wave crashed through my body. Returned. Like merchandise? My voice cracked. Why? Her answer made the room spin. Because those children didn't grow up to become what your parents wanted financially. Alicia gasped quietly. My birth mother finished. They kept you. Because you were smart. Because you were quiet. Because you excelled in school. Because you were financially promising. My breath hitched. And when you finally succeeded, she whispered. They decided it was time for you to pay. My heart broke. Not with sadness. But with clarity. For the first time in my life. I understood everything. Why they guilt me. Why they controlled me. Why they tracked my income. Why they obsessed over salaries. Why they demanded 40%. Why they fabricated contracts. Why they tried identity theft. Why they showed up at mediation furious. Because to them, I wasn't their daughter. I was their product. Their investment. Their retirement plan. And when I tried to cut ties, they panicked. They became desperate. They became dangerous. Crossed swords, the war is about to begin. When the call ended, Alicia turned to me with fire in her eyes. This is no longer about harassment, she said. This is about exploitation. Fraud. Identity theft. Manipulation. Obstruction. Illegal adoption conduct. And attempted financial trafficking. I inhaled sharply. Trafficking? I whispered. Her voice hardened. Yes. Any adoption arranged for financial gain is trafficking. My skin went cold. And your parents just handed us everything we need. She leaned in. But I need to know one thing. Are you sure you're ready to destroy them? My heartbeat steadied. Yes. Good, she said. Because with your birth mother's testimony, with the documents, with proof of identity theft attempts, with records of gambling losses, with the fake contract. She tapped the folder gently. We're not just going to stop them. Her eyes sharpened. We're going to end them. Have you ever walked into a courtroom knowing? Not hoping, not wishing. Knowing. You are about to end a chapter of your life so completely that the people in it will never have power over you again? I walked in with that certainty. Because this hearing wasn't about a fabricated contract anymore. It wasn't about tuition. It wasn't about family obligations or guilt. It was about identity theft, fraud, adoption manipulation, government stipend misuse, illegal adoption conduct, attempted coercion, emotional exploitation, and the truth they buried for 22 years. It was about exposing the people who raised me for what they really were. Not parents. Not caregivers. Not victims. But predators hiding in plain sight. Balance scale, the courtroom is full. It wasn't a small mediation room this time. This was a proper courtroom. A judge with a reputation for being brutal with fraud cases. 2 attorneys on my side, Alicia and a state adoption investigator. The courtroom packed with observers. My parents walked in late. My father looked hollow. My mother looked furious, wearing an expression like she was the wronged one. Behind me sat the woman who gave birth to me. My hands shook when I saw her. Not from fear. From recognition, the kind that hits the heart, not the mind. She looked at me like she'd been waiting her entire life for this moment. And she had. I turned back around as the judge banged the gavel. Case of state versus parent's last name. Let's begin. My father smirked confidently. My mother held her chin high. They thought they could talk their way out. They had talked their way through everything my entire life. But today was my turn. Balance scale, the state goes first. The state investigator stood. Your Honor, this case originated with an attempted fraudulent contract demanding lifelong income from the victim. He held up the agreement my parents wrote. Gasps from the audience. The judge adjusted his glasses. This is wildly unenforceable. Continue. The investigator nodded. Upon further review, we uncovered an attempted identity theft using the victim's credentials. A falsified loan application seeking $75,000. Evidence of forged signatures. Gambling withdrawals using adoption stipend money. Altered adoption documents. Prior history of returning children after failed stipend negotiations. And witness testimony from the biological mother. My mother's face drained of color. My father's jaw clenched like stone. The judge didn't blink. Alicia stepped forward. And that's not all. High voltage Alicia destroys them. Alicia laid out everything like a surgeon. 1. The $20,000 tuition wasn't a sacrifice. It was leftover stipend money they were paid to adopt me. 2. They attempted to sell me back to the system when I was 3. Because the payments stopped increasing. 3. They used me for tax credits, stipends, and adoptive subsidies. Then demanded 40% of my paycheck forever. 4. They falsified a family contract and attempted to weaponize the legal system. 5. They tracked my career path, income, and job offers to determine when to financially exploit me. Each item hit like a hammer. Observers shook their heads. Some gasped. Someone whispered, "Monsters." My mother finally burst out. "This is all lies." The judge slammed the gavel. "One more outburst and I will remove you." She closed her mouth, face trembling. Alicia continued. 6. They visited the biological mother 2 weeks ago to pressure her into signing a letter claiming I owed them money. 7. They threatened her with legal action. 8. They tried to convince her to help them extort me. 9. They illegally changed my last name and moved states to block her from reclaiming me. My birth mother looked down, tears dripping onto her hands. My father muttered under his breath. "We did what we had to." Alicia whirled. "What you had to? Or what you wanted to?" He glared. "You think you know everything?" Alicia leaned forward. "I know enough to bury your entire case." The courtroom murmured. The judge raised a brow, impressed. Balance scale. The biological mother takes the stand. When she was called up, I held my breath. She walked slowly to the witness stand, shaking, but determined. The judge asked for her opening statement. She inhaled deeply. "When I had my daughter," she said, voice trembling. "I was young, but I wanted her. I loved her." My throat tightened. They told me she was going to a stable family. A loving family. A family that would give her opportunities one couldn't at the time. Her voice cracked. "I didn't know the stipend was why they wanted her." She wiped her eyes. "I didn't know they'd move states. I didn't know they'd block every letter I sent. Every attempt. Every phone call." Gasps whispered through the crowd. She continued. "They returned 2 children before her. I only learned about that years later." My parents stared ahead, faces stone cold. "And when I saw them 2 weeks ago," she whispered. "They didn't ask about her. They didn't ask if she was happy. They didn't ask if she was alive." She took a shaky breath. "They asked for money." My mother jumped up. "That is a lie." The judge banged the gavel. "Bailiff, remove her." My mother was pulled out screaming. "We raised you. We own you. You owe us. You owe us." Her voice echoed through the hallway as she disappeared. The courtroom fell silent. Not shocked, but horrified. My father sat motionless. Then slowly, his mask cracked. "Balance scale." The father breaks. He whispered. "I didn't think it would get this far." Alicia folded her arms. "This far? You committed multiple felonies." He shook his head. "I didn't mean to hurt her. We needed the money. We were drowning." "You had a daughter," Alicia said quietly. "Not a lifeline." His eyes reddened. He looked directly at me and whispered, "I'm sorry. But it was too late. Way too late." Balance scale. The judge's final verdict. The judge spoke calmly, voice firm. "After reviewing all evidence, the court finds the parents guilty of attempted identity theft, coercion, adoption-related fraud, document falsification, harassment, and unlawful financial exploitation." My father closed his eyes. The judge continued. "Furthermore, the court orders a restraining order in favor of the victim. Immediate blocking of all contact. mandatory rehabilitation programs, financial oversight, and a permanent prohibition from adopting or fostering children ever again. My father lowered his head. The judge's final words hit like a hammer. And the victim owes them nothing. In fact, they owe her. He banged the gavel. Case closed. My father began to cry silently. My mother was still screaming somewhere in the hallway. A lifetime of manipulation, control, and exploitation ended. Just like that. Red Heart, the reunion that heals everything. When the courtroom emptied, my birth mother approached me slowly. She didn't run. She didn't cling. She just whispered, "Can I hug you?" 22 years. 22 years of stolen time. 22 years of silence. 22 years of wondering if I was loved. I stepped forward and collapsed into her arms. She held me like she'd held grief for decades. We cried into each other. Not because of pain, but because of recognition. Because of truth. Because of life circling back to where it belonged. She whispered, "You were never unwanted. You were never unloved. You were taken from me. But you're home now. I'm here now. If you want me." I nodded into her shoulder. "I want you." Red Heart epilogue, 1 year later. I cut off all contact with my adoptive parents. My restraining order is still active. The police monitor all attempted communication. My father is in a rehabilitation program. My mother moved out of state, still blaming the world. My birth mother? She's in my life now. Slowly. Carefully. Lovingly. We meet every week. We talk. We heal. We build something new. Something real. Something I never had growing up. A family. Not by blood alone, but by choice, truth, and love. The final message. Your parents may influence your beginning, but you decide your ending. And sometimes, choosing yourself is the greatest revenge of all.